Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark,
And I'm Zoe.
and we are the Board Adventurers. Back to you with another late to the game. We are going to review the 2 to 5 player game Ra, designed by Reiner Knizia and published by 25th Century Games. So Ra is inherently a bidding game. And so the first thing you're going to do is each player is going to take the player board. You're then going to set up the main board on the table, and you're going to place the sunboat on the first space, depending on the player count. So let's say right here on the track. Then you're going to take an auction tile based on the side that you pick for your player board, based on the number of players, and you're going to take the number that's associated in the center of them. You're each going to get 10 points, and then you're going to take the bag of tiles, whole bunch of bag of tiles, and you're going to put it into the center of the board, and then you're going to start play. So what do you do in Ra? So on your turn, you do one of three simple things. You can either draw a tile from the bag, and then it'll add to the track. So what you could do is you could add a tile somewhere on the bottom here in these little indents, and they'll keep stacking all the way down. The second thing you could do is you can invoke Ra, which is this big blue piece right here. By doing that, you're starting an auction, and you're going to then look at the board. And this is where the amount of tiles on here is important, because if the whole board is filled when you invoke Ra as an action, you can choose. So bidding happens when anyone takes Ra, or you draw one of these Ra tile, which is the red one, and it starts to the left of the person that created the bidding phase. So then the person to the left will bid, and then it will go all the way back to the main person that started, and then they can choose to bid. If this entire line is full and you've invoked Ra, the person that invoked does not have to bid if nobody else bids. If the person, if there is, if there's less tiles than the full length of this, then if everyone else passes, the person that invoked has to make a bid, right? So basically, if it's not full and you invoke, nobody bids. You have to bid. If it's full when you invoke, you don't have to bid. And in that case, everything on the bottom here is white. Okay. When this line is full, you actually are forced to invoke Ra too, because you can't just draw a new tile into this. All right. When you draw the tile, sorry, I should have went to this too, is that when you draw the Ra tile from the bag, it creates another bidding phase, starting with to the left of the person that drew this. If everyone did not bid and it gets back to this person, they do not have to bid because they've drawn this tile. All right, so that's the two other actions. The last action you can do is if you have a god tile, which is going to be in your top right area of your board here. You can choose to spend it to take any one tile from the display and then add it into your board. At some point, when you draw the Ra tile, the sunboat is going to end up moving down this track. So each time you draw a tile, it's going to move down the track. When it gets to the end here, which is this little space right here, it creates the end of the epic or epoch, whatever you call it. And the other way of ending the round is if everyone has spent all of their sun chips or all of their bidding tokens, and they've all been flipped over. One cool thing about the bidding is that when you've won a bid, you're going to replace your tile with the one that's in the center of the board. So you're going to inherently take another number that's different than the one that you have. So at the end of the round, and again, there's 3 rounds. At the end of the first 2 rounds, you're going to score 6 of the areas on your player board. So let's just go over that real quick too. So you have monuments here. This only scores in the 3rd round, and this is based on the amount that you have of a certain type of monument and the amount that you have of different types of monuments. So if you have right here, if it says you have 7 different monuments, then you would score 10 points on this. Whereas like if you have 5 of the same monument of the same type of monument, you would get 15 points. Coming down, you're going to get the Pharaoh tiles. If you have the least amount of Pharaoh tiles, you don't want to be last because then you get -2 per round that you are last. If you have the most amount of Pharaoh tiles, you get 5 points. Coming down over here, you have the Nile tiles. Now, this is important because this is in relation to the flood tiles here. The Nile only scores if you have at least 1 flood tile. So you may have 9 Nile tiles, but if you don't have a flood tile, then that's worth 0. If you have 1 flood tile and 9 Nile tiles, you'll get 9 points for the Nile. Flood scores for every single flood that you have. So you don't need a Nile for a flood, but you need a flood for a Nile. Coming up here to the tribe. The tribe scores based on the amount of tribe symbols on some of the tiles. So there's 5 different tribes in this game. If you have 0 at the end of the round, you get -5 points, I believe. Just making sure. You lose 5 points. If you have 3 of them, or 3, 4, or 5, then you're going to get points based on a scale. Coming up to the gold tiles, you're going to score 3 points for that gold tile. It's 3 times the number of gold tiles you have. So it's a factor of 3. And then finally up here, you have the god tiles. So your god tiles are basically going to be 2 points apiece if you have them. And then at the end of the first 2 rounds, everything on the right side of your board that you've gained is going to get discarded from the game. You're going to keep everything on the left side, and you're going to start a new round. You're going to keep playing until the end of the 3rd round, and then you'll score up your points, and then you'll see who wins. With that being said, that is the general description of Raw. What do you think?
Yeah, so Raw was a game I was very excited to play. I know it's a classic bid-in game, and really wanted to check out this new reprint of the game by 25th Century Game. And I have to say, man, this didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed this auction bidding game, and I like that it doesn't overcomplicate it too much, but it adds a good amount to how you score, which is what's kind of fun about it, right? Because you're really bidding on scoring mechanics.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect of it, especially combined with the whole raw aspect of it, of like drawing out the raw, and it's just like this excitement at the table of the bidding is happening now.
Right.
And especially if there's high valued pieces out there. And it is also the aspect of you have things out there that you need, and you kind of want to see if do I try to invoke it early to not make it enticeful to like enticing to everyone else at the table, or do I want to gamble a little bit and see if even more better pieces come out and join that? I like that aspect of this game a lot.
Yeah.
And the other thing that really excited me to really like about the game is when you win a bid, you lose your token and then you get another token. So it adds that also aspect of is this worth winning, because that is not a high value auction piece.
Right, because in the next round, that'll hinder my ability to get any winning bids.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, those 2 things alone makes this game like one of the better auction bidding games that I've played. Yeah. What about you?
I really enjoy Raw. The choices that you get in Raw are you're playing it very much on the fly. But as you see the line of tiles grow, you start to get really enticed to just start a bid, just to see if you can bait someone into taking it.
Yeah.
Just to have them use it, because like if they've used up all 3 of their tiles, they're out for the round. They don't draw tiles. They don't bid on anything.
Yeah.
If you are the last person and you somehow haven't gotten the thing to the bottom of the track, you can keep drawing tiles as much as you want, and sometimes you don't want to do that. A lot of the times too is that if you have like one of the lower bidding tiles, like say a 1 or a 2, you want to immediately start a bid if there's at least 1 piece someone either wants or you want.
Yeah,
you're willing to part with a 1 if you know that you're going to get rid of the 1. You're going to upgrade that number to a higher number.
Yeah,
and like that's the beauty of the choices that are in this game, is that you're not just bidding for tiles, you're bidding for the bidding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like you're trying to set yourself up for next round. Like, I can't do anything with this one in the second round, but in the second round, I can use it and force someone to take it for the third round.
And I love the
Yeah.
baiting people into
Yeah.
the bids. I like the rule a lot that if you invoked Ra and no one bids, now you have to bid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I get someone to bid, for it? And then if they bid, then I'm like, I don't need it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll keep my one if you are gonna bid that 5, because there's something else is gonna come out that's gonna be more juicy. Then
And it's also I do like that strategy too. If you have a crappy piece, like if you have that like low numbers, like all right, I'm gonna invoke Ra now.
yeah,
Hope no one bids and let me get rid of this.
yeah,
And then, but that's also can bait someone because it's coming to like, I don't want to get a good piece for the next round.
right,
But do I need those?
right.
It's good choices.
And it's crazy because like a lot of times when you're playing this game, when we've played it at least, is that every tile that shows up is an enticing tile, right? Because you'll get to a point where you're like, I have the same amount of Pharaoh as you do. I just need one to be first.
Yeah.
One just showed up. I need that one.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like you'll also get the other aspect of, I can't score my Nile tiles. I need a flood tile. And then you see one show up and it's like, am I willing to part with a 16 to get one Nile so that I can score 6 points on that?
Yeah.
Like, is that worth it? It's like it plays with your mind. It's like it just shows up as like a dangle,
Yeah.
And that's what really entices me about this game is that there's always something that you want to bid for.
Yeah.
100%. Like, it's like nothing is like, off limits. Wait, what we didn't mention too is that there's disaster tiles in this game too. And they can actually hinder you by removing things off your board. So you want to try to force those to other opponents too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, even with the disaster tile, I do like the whole like when it's mixed with really, really good pieces, and it's kind of like, should I just take the disaster pile so I can take those enticing pieces? It's good. It works really well. It's one of those bidding games too that you're really paying attention to what everyone at the table has.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to give them another Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Like, I need to outbid them for this.
Yeah.
And then on their turn, they'll be like, 2 more Pharaohs show up. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So in terms of a buy, skip, play, where did this rank for you?
I think if I was looking at the bidding games that I have, this would be up in like my top 3 bidding right now. And if you saw our top 100, you saw how much I really enjoyed this game too. I think I'd be on the line of the buy and play. But at this moment, I think I'd be leaning to buy if you like bidding games.
Got it.
I think as a bidding mechanic, this game is very quick. 3 rounds just fly by so fast. The choices that you have in this game, there's like, it's that illusion of I can do as much as I want only if my opponent lets me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I want to get 6 tiles out, that I can add to my, field. But my opponent's not going to let me do that. They're going to outbid me immediately for that. And then I'm going to try to, last out the round so that I can draw as many tiles as I want. But then the raw tile will keep getting drawn and immediately end the round and no more bidding occurs. It's like it's like that push your luck also added into this bidding that make me really, really enjoy this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
What about you?
For me, I'm at a buy for this. I think this is a solid
Straight
buy. This is a straight buy for me. The main reason being is if you like auction bidding games and you don't own this, you should own this. If you need want to try an auction bidding game or looking for the quintessential straight just auction bidding game, I think this is a buy to check that out. I just think in any kind of scenario, this is sort of a buy. It really is a straight up auction bidding game with a little bit of push your luck added to it, but it's not completely light. Whereas there is some aspect. It's a midweight auction game, but it's not too heavy, but it's still straight up auction. I just think it works.
Yeah, and like our friends that we've shown it to, for the most part, really love this game. A couple of them actually bought this game too.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely one of those games where If you like the idea of a bidding game, this is going to fit right in that wheelhouse.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that is our late to the game review of Raw. Let us know your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear it. I'm Zoe.
And Mark.
See you on the next adventure.
I invoke.